What really happened to Lisa Kelly after the cameras stopped rolling? She was the face of ice road truckers, a fearless trailblazer on frozen highways. But behind the fame was a story no one expected. From being unpaid in early seasons to nearly vanishing from TV altogether, her journey is full of heartbreak, grit, and one incredible comeback. Stick around, because the truth behind Lisa's story is way more intense than what you saw on screen. Imagine surviving the most treacherous roads on Earth, only to realize the toughest terrain you'll ever face is hidden far from the headlights. This is the quietly powerful and untold journey of Lisa Kelly, the woman who captivated millions on ice road truckers, not through bravado, but through sheer endurance. Her rise wasn't just compelling television. It was a personal battle veiled behind steel, snow, and silence. What appeared on screen was only part of the story. The rest unfolded in shadows, off-camera, in moments few ever witnessed. When Ice Road Truckers first aired in June 2007, it brought something raw and gripping into people's living rooms. Unlike the usual glamour of reality TV, this was edge-of-the-seat danger on frozen terrain, where one wrong move could mean disaster. These weren't roads. They were sheets of ice sprawled across remote wilderness in Canada and Alaska, forged over lakes and rivers that could crumble beneath 40-ton trucks. Every delivery became a race against time, temperature, and terrain. Viewers couldn't look away. And that suspense wasn't scripted. It was real, unfiltered, and dangerously beautiful. Then came the game changer. When the series transitioned from the Canadian territories to Alaska's infamous Dalton Highway, the stakes rose. Jagged climbs, long hauls, and weather that could turn fatal in minutes. But what made this show unforgettable wasn't just the peril. It was the people who dared to face it. That's where Lisa Kelly entered the story, and everything shifted. She didn't look like the kind of driver you'd expect to find barreling down an icy cliff at 50 below. But maybe that's exactly why she stood out. From her very first episode, Lisa shattered expectations. No theatrics, no drama, just focus, guts, and a quiet strength that made viewers sit up and pay attention. She wasn't there to prove a point. She was there to drive, and do it right. When she wrapped chains on tires in whiteout conditions or navigated a 30-ton load over hairpin curves, there was no hesitation, just execution. The audience didn't just watch her, they rooted for her. Lisa didn't ask to be a trailblazer, but she became one anyway. As the first prominent female face on Ice Road Truckers, she brought a new dimension to the series. Suddenly, it wasn't just about danger, it was about defying norms, about showing that grit has no gender. And viewers connected with her, not because she demanded respect, but because she earned it, run by grueling run. She didn't just haul freight. She hauled a quiet revolution onto our screens. Long before the spotlight, Lisa's journey had already begun in a place far removed from television. Sterling, Alaska. Her family moved there from Grand Rapids, Michigan when she was just a child. Life in Sterling wasn't polished. It was rough and real. She grew up on a small farm, learning early that survival wasn't about comfort. It was about resilience. There were no red carpets in her past, just snow-covered fields and early lessons in hard work. Lisa's road to trucking wasn't mapped out. As a young woman, she bounced through a patchwork of jobs: motocross racer, gas station cashier, pizza delivery driver. Then came a stint as a school bus driver. That's where something clicked. It wasn't the thrill of horsepower that drew her in. It was the peace of the open road, the control behind the wheel. Most would have moved on, but Lisa followed that instinct. She earned her commercial license and broke into one of the toughest logistics companies in Alaska, Kareli Transportation. That job wasn't handed to her. She stepped into a world where she had to earn every inch of credibility. The only woman in the yard, she didn't flinch. She clocked in, loaded up, and learned fast. This time she wasn't driving in Alaska. She was navigating treacherous cliffside trails in the Himalayas, roads barely wide enough for one truck, with sheer drops on either side. It was survival driving at its most extreme, and Lisa, as always, stayed calm in chaos. She returned for another season, this time in South America, again facing terrain that could turn deadly in an instant. But with every new challenge, she showed audiences something deeper. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet determination to keep moving forward no matter what the road looks like. By 2010, she wasn't just a reality star. She was a symbol. But symbols, too, carry weight. And behind the composed face the world saw on camera, Lisa Kelly was quietly grappling with what it meant to carry that spotlight. The road she once loved had changed, and so had she. The journey wasn't over, but the silence between seasons spoke volumes. And what came next would reveal more than just the challenges of a frozen highway. It would reveal the unseen toll of being admired, watched, and tested at every turn. The story wasn't about how she started, but how far she was willing to go and what it cost her along the way. She didn't walk into fame. Fame found her. One minute she was navigating ice-packed highways with nothing but grit and horsepower. And the next she was sitting under the bright lights of The Late Show with David Letterman, offering dry humor and modest charm to a nation watching in awe. Lisa Kelly never aimed to be a television personality. She just wanted to drive. But as the world saw something magnetic in her, the spotlight locked on and wouldn't let go. Not long after that TV appearance, Esquire magazine splashed her across a glossy feature, dubbing her the sexiest trucker alive. It was surreal. For someone who saw herself as just another road warrior, suddenly she was being pulled between two worlds, one of rugged professionalism and another fueled by the glamorized gaze of pop culture. That shift wasn't just unexpected, it was disorienting. Imagine doing the job you love, only to find the quiet rhythm of your routine hijacked by film crews, lighting setups, and non-stop interviews. The peaceful solitude that once defined her life on the road was now buried under production schedules and global publicity tours. Lisa, who thrived in the driver's seat, now had to navigate the demands of celebrity. And behind every polished segment was a reality few saw coming. The grind was merciless. Between filming Ice Road Truckers and its intense spin-off Deadliest Roads, her calendar left no room for rest. Even the thrill of the open road lost its charm when laced with constant cameras and calculated narratives. By the time Season 6 rolled around, she had reached a crossroads. And quietly, without headlines or explanation, Lisa stepped back. No press statement, no tell-all, just silence. For viewers, her absence was more than noticeable. It was jarring. She had become a symbol of resilience and calm amidst chaos. So when she vanished from the screen, speculation filled the void. Online forums buzzed with theories. Did she clash with producers? Was it burnout? Or was this the end of the line for one of the show's most beloved figures? The answer wasn't dramatic. It was deeply human. According to executive producer Tom Beers, she had simply declined the offer to return that season. "We invited her back," he explained, "but she's taking a year off." Just like that. But what sounded like a logistical break actually hinted at something more profound. Lisa wasn't dodging conflict. She was reclaiming space. Then came the twist no one expected. She returned. When Season 7 kicked off and Lisa Kelly was back in the driver's seat, it wasn't with fanfare or drama. It was quiet, powerful, and exactly on her terms. She didn't return because she missed the attention. She came back because she was ready, mentally, emotionally, and physically. There was a newfound calm in her approach. She wasn't proving herself anymore. She was just doing what she did best. From that season onward, until the series finale in 2017, Lisa anchored the show. She logged more than 80 episodes, confronting some of the harshest conditions the series ever captured. Yet what made her return so compelling wasn't just the terrain or the technical challenges, it was her endurance. Not just as a trucker, but as a person who had survived the weight of celebrity without letting it reshape her. In those final seasons, she wasn't just another cast member, she was the heart of the series. And when Ice Road Truckers rolled to its final stop, Lisa didn't fade into anonymity. She didn't chase the next reality gig or jump into the influencer game. She simply kept moving, on real roads, in real trucks. That's what made her stand apart. She chose authenticity over applause. Even after the cameras stopped rolling, Lisa stayed visible, but on her terms. She partnered with the creators of the 2023 game Alaskan Road Truckers, lending her voice and likeness to a virtual version of the life she lived. She shared bits of her world through YouTube and social media, never chasing viral moments, but staying connected to the people who respected her journey. Her story didn't end with the final episode. It evolved. Lisa Kelly became more than a television figure. She became a symbol of resilience in an industry that often burns bright and fades fast. And perhaps that's the real legacy. Not the fame, not the headlines, but the quiet courage of someone who stayed true to herself, no matter how loud the world around her got. She didn't just shift gears, Lisa Kelly rewrote the narrative. The 16-part brand series wasn't some flashy promo campaign. It was a deep, raw portrayal of Lisa in her element, powering through Alaskan backroads, tightening bolts in sub-zero temps, and hauling oversized loads across terrain that would make most drivers turn back. But behind every engine check and load run was something deeper, a woman reclaiming her story. She wasn't just the face of the series, she was its beating heart. Every frame wasn't about selling trucks, it was about proving that grit, skill, and survival had a face, and that face belonged to her. Even when the final episode wrapped and the crew packed up, Lisa didn't disappear. She turned to something older than TV contracts and production calls, her love for horses. Before fame, before the ice roads, there was always this deep bond with animals. Out on her Alaskan homestead, far removed from bright lights and fan selfies, Lisa found peace in caring for her horses. She wasn't just riding, she was healing, rehabilitating rescues, training young colts, and reconnecting with the quiet calm of the natural world. For her, this wasn't a retreat. It was realignment. But the road never let her go completely. Lisa remained a presence at trucking expos across the globe. From packed convention halls in the UK to trade events in Ireland, fans waited in long lines not for autographs, but for the chance to meet someone who represented something rare in entertainment: authenticity. They didn't see a manufactured star. They saw a trailblazer who stood her ground in an unforgiving industry. These appearances weren't about staying relevant. They were about staying connected, without sacrificing herself to a production schedule again. And she still drives. Not on cue, not for a camera, but because that's who she is. Her current rig, a Freightliner Coronado 122 SD, is pure muscle, a perfect match for her endurance. Every move she made was under a microscope. Her male counterparts could make mistakes and walk away clean. Lisa? She had to be flawless. A single error risked fueling outdated stereotypes. So she worked, and then worked some more, until no one could question what she brought to that icy highway. That perseverance didn't just earn her respect, it shattered barriers. Reality TV brought her recognition, but it also brought intrusion. She had to live split between authenticity and entertainment, constantly navigating how the producers shaped her story. Sometimes what aired didn't match the truth of who she was. She voiced her frustration in later years, noting how her expertise often got edited out in favor of drama. But she never wavered. Instead of chasing the spotlight, She let her skills speak louder than any storyline ever could. Even when the show ended, her legacy refused to fade. In 2021, well past the final broadcast, Lisa expressed her openness to return if the series ever found a second life. But then the pandemic struck, halting any hopes of a reboot. Still, the fans didn't forget. Thanks to streaming platforms, her episodes found new life, attracting fresh audiences and reigniting old admiration. Lisa didn't just leave behind a show, she left behind a movement. And while others sought reinvention or media stunts, Lisa stayed grounded. No tabloid headlines, no spin-offs, just a continued presence in the trucking world, showing up at expos, sharing her knowledge, and driving through terrain as rugged as ever. She proved that a lasting legacy doesn't need fireworks. Sometimes, it's the quiet consistency that hits hardest. Let's break down the lifestyle that came with all those years behind the wheel. Lisa Kelly's financial world is as streamlined as her approach to fame, focused and grounded. While she never flaunted her wealth, she has enjoyed the fruits of her labor through smart purchases and quiet indulgences. Her known vehicles have included the rugged Freightliner and a handful of off-road ATVs. She's been spotted wearing classic timepieces like the Citizen EcoDrive, favoring practicality over flash. Real estate-wise, her homestead in Alaska stands as her sanctuary, modest but deeply personal. She doesn't own a private jet or a sprawling Hollywood mansion, but she's invested wisely in her lifestyle. Lisa has secured various insurance policies over the years, including comprehensive trucker health coverage, equipment protection, and liability plans tailored to the high-risk nature of her job. Her financial philosophy? Build wealth through discipline. No waste, no showboating, just intentional choices rooted in sustainability and self-reliance. Her journey from being seen as an outsider in a male-dominated space to becoming one of its most enduring figures offers lessons that stretch far beyond ice roads. Lisa taught us that legacy isn't about trending today. It's about relevance tomorrow. That resilience isn't built in dramatic moments, but in showing up every day, no matter how cold, how tough, how invisible the road feels. So will the series ever return? Maybe. But even if it doesn't, Lisa Kelly's imprint remains, etched into the frozen highways and into the hearts of everyone who saw in her not just a trucker, but a symbol of quiet, unshakable strength. And that's a road few have the courage to travel. And that's the real journey of Lisa Kelly. More than just frozen roads and roaring engines. It's about grit, quiet strength, and staying true to yourself when the world's watching. From hauling cargo across dangerous ice to building a peaceful life with horses, Lisa proved that real power isn't loud, it's steady. If you felt inspired or surprised by her story, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories behind your favorite stars. We've got more deep dives and shocking Hollywood turns coming your way. So buckle up. And remember, while Lisa may have left the ice roads, her legacy still drives straight through the heart of every fan who watched her ride. See you in the next one.